It's opening day, which means the Dodgers had just enough time to squeeze in one more fat contract. There may be some smoke to the story about Andy Enfield leaving USC for SMU. And LeBron James claims he has veto power on Lakers in-game decisions. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. So, it is March 28th, 2024, opening day. It's time for Dodger baseball. But if you like being in the know about LA sports, and not just the Dodgers, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. You know I look forward to hearing from you. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Rui Hachimura scored 32 points as the Lakers defeated Memphis 136-124. 7 Lakers reached double figures, and they improved 41-32. Weirder night over in Philadelphia. Clippers wound up edging the Sixers 108-107. Paul George scored 22 points in James Harden's return to Philadelphia, where the fans gave him a box of chocolates and the middle finger. But here's the thing. Kawhi Leonard blocked Kelly Oubre's shot as time expired to preserve the win. And the ref said they blew the call. They said in retrospect, Oubre was fouled. So if you're enjoying some orange juice this morning, I invite you to raise your glass and toast for a tainted victory, which is a victory nevertheless. Tough crap Philly. Totally don't care about you. Meanwhile, today, St. Louis is in town. They are going to face the Dodgers at 1 o'clock. Miles Mikolas versus Tyler Glasnow. And the Kings are at Edmonton at 6. But what do you say we get to the news? You didn't think that the Dodgers would stop Venmoing their players cash, right? Just because it's opening day of the season, that the fat stacks weren't going to stop being thrown around like it's being thrown out of a helicopter. Yeah, on the eve of opening day, the Dodgers extended Will Smith by a 10-year contract. Smith is 29. He was due to hit free agency after 2025, but this deal will keep him in Dodger blue until 2033. Now, added it all together, the Dodgers have committed a breathtaking $1.35 billion this offseason to player payroll. The payroll now, for this year alone, $326 million. Now, for the Dodgers' part, Andrew Friedman called Smith Smith's career, to keep him with LA, at the top of his to-do list because he's been a core player pretty much since he arrived. Here's the thing, though. There's no way this guy can last as a catcher until 2033, right? Never works out that way. So what happens when this guy's knees are shot? Now, he's not likely to be a future DH. That's for Shohei Ohtani. Freddie Freeman, he has first base locked down for another 4 years. So you're looking and saying, well, wait, where does Smith slot? We do know that in the minor leagues, he played second and third. If his knees explode, you're not putting him at second. So that would leave third base. That would mean Max Muncy might eventually be the odd man out. Now, this is just speculation on my part. I'm just saying. Muncy's contract only goes through 2025, and he's 33. This is also a shot across the bow to the Dodgers minor league system, because they're always full with pitchers. But in terms of position players, they've got about 3 that could be future Dodgers. Dalter Rushing, Diego Cartaya, maybe Thyron Lorenzo. No idea. But guys, Smith's got the gig locked up for at least another couple of years. One of you is going to have to step forward if you want to be the heir apparent when Smith's knees eventually go boom. And with that contract, by the way, I don't suppose now would be a good time to talk about how risky the Dodgers front office has been. I'm a Dodger fan too, but let's be real. Some of this money has been a wee bit risky. FoxSports.com listed the top 10 riskiest contracts handed out for the offseason. They listed 6 that came from the owners and 4 that are risky for the players to take. 3 of the 6 contracts issued by the owners on this list came from Dodger management, including the riskiest of the bunch, the one that Yoshinobu Yamamoto signed. And you can't really argue why. You can't. Because he signed a 12-year deal worth over $300 million. And when he signed the deal in the first place, he still hadn't made a single major league pitch. And he comes here, he struggled all spring long and got rocked in his debut over in South Korea. Kind of makes you sweat a little bit when you think about it. Tyler Glasnow, today's starter, comes in at number 3. And again, if you've been following the club, you know why. The guy has a major history of injuries. Electric stuff. But is he going to be available to be on the mound? Shohei Ohtani, by the way, is number 6. The value of his deal would be much more pronounced, I should say, if he's able to pitch again. But at this time, we assume he's going to pitch at some point. We just don't have any idea. We have spent a lot of time throwing numbers around, by the way, for the Dodgers offseason. We all know that, and I get it. But one thing to keep in mind, at least, is that at least it's all not in a lump sum. The team had made salary deferrals a regular part of contract negotiations. They'd actually lost a couple of players because they didn't want to defer part of the contract. We knew that about Shohei Ohtani. The dude signed a $700 million deal, and it's like he's making minimum wage right now. That's how much he deferred. But it's not just him. Players on the Dodgers who have had deferred money in their contracts include Mookie Betts, include Freddie Freeman, include Teoscar Hernandez. And this has caused a lot of sturm and drang among baseball people. But here's the thing. The Players Union is okay with it because it's also a way for the players to defer taxes on their contract. You take Teoscar Hernandez, for example. He could be living in Florida in a couple of years. He only signed a very short-term contract. Much of the money is deferred. Say Teoscar Hernandez only lasts about a year and a half in LA and decides to move back home to Florida. Most of the money comes to him then when he's living in Florida, where the tax burden is significantly less than living out in California. And there is no limit to how much a player can defer. Ohtani and Freeman deferred a ton of money, though, for a different reason. It wasn't necessarily a tax dodge. It's because they wanted LA to have more money to keep adding to the roster. The Dodgers also can invest the money that they have deferred. Put it in bonds and stocks. Hell, put it in Bitcoin for all I know, right? And then what happens? They're actually making compounded interest off of the investment money that they made and use that so that they're not on the hook when it's time to pay the bill. The Dodgers, keep in mind, they're owned by an investment firm in Guggenheim. So the money that they save, the money they invest, they're an investment firm. You have an idea, or you would assume that they have an idea, what the next big stock tip is going to be. So this isn't necessarily as painful for the Dodgers as you might originally think. What do you say we stop talking about money? Because numbers don't necessarily translate all that well unless you have big graphics on your screen. Gavin Stone admitted he was tipping pitches during his brief stint in the majors last year. The Dodgers' 5th starter told the LA Times that a new mitt will probably help guard the ball better while he's messing around with the grip. SMU out in Texas, is apparently single-minded in its search for a new basketball coach. It is apparently Andy Enfield or bust. So saith ESPN. For that matter, so say The Athletic. But unlike the local radio host that we talked about yesterday, Rodney Peete, the former Trojans quarterback, ESPN and The Athletic does not say a deal is complete. At this moment, Enfield is still the basketball coach over at USC. But for that matter, here's something exceptionally strange. I haven't seen so much as a keystroke of this story in either the LA Times or the LA Daily News. So again, as I mentioned yesterday, how much stock do we put into this story? I'll give ESPN the benefit of the doubt and say that there's a little smoke to the fire. But here's what I would say in response. This also might be a ploy for Enfield to pry more cash out of USC. Rodney Peete 2 days ago said it was a done deal. If it was a done deal, it would be announced. You don't think Enfield is going back to USC and saying, hey, I've got this offer on the field, pony up? Enfield signed a 6-year extension with the Trojans back in 2022, by the way. Now, all things being equal, I would argue that this is the first real challenge for athletic director Jen Cohen. Enfield has gotten USC into the NCAA tournament 5 times. In one stretch, he got him in 3 years in a row. First ever for the Trojans program. Getting Lincoln Riley to fire Alex Grinch is kitten play by comparison. So there's a lot of, I'm assuming, but I think I'm right. There's going to be a lot of negotiations going on between Enfield while he tries to create a bidding war between SC and SMU. LeBron James isn't above flexing, and I don't just mean his biceps. He not so humble bragged to JJ Redick on a podcast I don't listen to and said he has veto power over Coach Darvin Ham. Now, James cited the recent rally to beat the Clippers as an example. Quote, in the Clipper game, we had switching built in versus Kawhi Leonard and versus James Harden, and whatever the case may be, I vetoed it in the second half because I know Clippers coach Tyronn Lue more than I know any other player that he's been with. It got to the point where I knew in order for us to get back into the game, switching anybody else onto Kawhi is not favorable to us. So I vetoed it, unquote. So what are we to make of this? I'm not sure that means Ham has to run every decision past LeBron James. The idea that LeBron James knows Ty Lue very well? Oh, absolutely, I believe that. Lue coached James out in Cleveland. That James would go up and tell Darvin Ham, hey, I know that guy, this plan is going to work. I totally believe that too. I would even go so far as to concede that there are LeBron rules, much like there were Jordan rules back in the day. But LeBron James having complete veto power to wield at his beck and call? I'm not going there yet. I'd be more inclined to say James has a lot of influence. He is a 19-year veteran after all. He knows the game inside and out. Nobody can deny that. But I don't necessarily think he has veto power. There are articles, by the way, claiming that D'Angelo Russell would prefer to stay with the Lakers, to which I say, big whoop. Russell is simply trying to create a market in free agency. If LAFC played a social media prank on its fans, I don't know if it's going to land all that well. See, yesterday we were talking about how there's a contract for French superstar striker Olivier Giroud. LAFC went so far as to go on social media and post a clip. It's their little tradition every time they're going to add a new player. They drop an LAFC cap in the mail so that the new player could take a selfie with it. They even wrote a French greeting on the tweets. They added somebody from France, all right. Defender Maxime Chanot, who plays in the French second division. That's kind of a letdown, guys. That's kind of a rug pull, wouldn't you say? Now, Chanot is 34, and he's just going to be in the rotation for center back. Huge difference between that and one of the world's most recognizable goal scorers. Now, it's a wee too early for the old April Fool's gag, guys. You better announce your rod first for your own fans' well-being. And for that matter, it might be for your own good as well. No time to waste there. Now, The Athletic also conducted a survey of MLS general managers on a variety of questions, and this involves both LAFC and the Galaxy. As to who will win MLS Cup, only one general manager thinks it'll be LAFC. Most believe it's going to be Inter Miami. Two GMs believe that either LAFC or the Galaxy will win the Supporters' Shield, which is an award given for the best regular season record. They also think Dennis Bouanga is the best attacker in the league, not named Lionel Messi. As for the Galaxy, MLS GM said the addition of winger Joseph Paintsil has been the most impressive move of the winter. The Galaxy were also seen as having the second best offseason overall. One executive said that adding Will Kuntz as general manager was a solution that was needed for a decade, and that the Galaxy, quote, should get a lot better real quick. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me, for example, about the mountains, the Scrooge McDuck level of gold bullion that the Dodgers have just been fanning out to their entire roster. Do you think Andy Enfield has coached his last game with USC? And if you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corta El Queso production. Take care.